So what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is the attempt by a manipulator to manipulate the victim of gaslighting into questioning their own good judgment to the point where they make a decision that is against their own, the victim's, best interest, but instead makes a decision that's in favor of the one doing the gaslighting, the victimizer. So basically, that's what gaslighting is. It's a term that came from the movie Gaslight. Actually, there were I think there's been a couple of movies, at least a couple. The one from 1944 is the best one, I think. The one with Joseph Cotton and Ingrid Bergman and Charles Boyer. But yeah, that's basically what gaslighting is, and I'm contending that Marx and Engels were doing just that. They were gaslighting the reader in their Communist Manifesto. And that's the point I'm trying to make in this video presentation. So it says here. I'm just going to read from the manifesto. Some quotes here and make the case that yes, the gaslighting is going on against the reader. The reader is getting being gaslit by Marx and Engels in the manifesto. Okay, I'll read some passages here. The distinguishing feature of communism is not the abolition of property generally, but the abolition of bourgeois property. Now notice there that they didn't say the abolition of it says the distinguishing feature of communism is not the abolition of property generally, but the abolition of bourgeois property. So property generally, I mean, public property, that's still going to be property. So they're not against public property. So they're not saying, oh, we're against public property. So that's important there. I'll go on here. But modern bourgeois private property is the final and most complete expression of the system of producing and appropriating products that is based on class antagonisms, on the exploitation of the many by the few. In this sense, the theory of communists may be summed up in a single sentence: abolition of private property. So there you go. They made it very clear there. They want to abolish private property. End of sentence. That's it. Private property. That's what they want to abolish. Oh, I'll read on here. We communists have been reproached with the desire of abolishing the right of personally acquiring property as the fruit of a man's own labor, which property is alleged to be the groundwork of all personal freedom, activity, and independence. Hard-won, self-acquired, self-earned property. Do you mean the property of the petty artisan and of the small peasant? A form of property that preceded the bourgeois form? There is no need to abolish that. The development of industry has to a great extent already destroyed it and is still destroying it daily. Now notice they did not say Marx and Engels they did not say they're against abolishing private property for the peasant and the petty artisan. They're just saying, well, industry is already taking care of that. So it sounds like they're not saying, oh yeah, we'll make an exception for the petty artisan and peasant. They did not say that here. So one might think that's what they're claiming, but it's not in here. They're not saying, oh, we'll let the petty artisan and peasant own their own personal private property. For them, yeah, that's okay. No, they did not say that. They just said, well, the industry's already taken care of that, so they don't need to. Basically, that's what I'm reading here. I'll read on again. Quote here. Or do you mean modern bourgeois private property? But does wage labor create any property for the laborer? Not a bit. It creates capital, that kind of property which exploits wage labor and which cannot increase except upon a condition of begetting a new supply of wage labor for fresh exploitation. Property in its present form is based on the antagonism of capital and wage labor. Let us examine both sides of this antagonism. So that's where the gaslighting comes in. They're like, I mean, come on, Marx, have you ever heard of a paycheck? How is that not property? And what is used from that paycheck to buy private personal property? Instead, what Marx and Engels are claiming, or they're trying to gaslight the audience into thinking, whoa, that's not really property. That's the antagonism of capital and wage labor. But then the audience will be like, well, I thought that was what I bought with my paycheck was, I'm a wage laborer, and I thought what I bought with my paycheck is my own private property. But Marx goes, oh, you silly wage laborer, you don't understand things. That's the antagonism of capital and labor. That's not really property. But the workers thinking, well, silly me, I thought that was my property. Now I'm confused. And that's the goal, I think, of Marx and Engels. They're trying to confuse the reader. They're flim-flamming them into questioning their own best judgment about their own values. All this of the values of the reader, of the proletariat, of the worker, who is may not, of course, won't have as much private property as the owner of the business that they work for, in all likelihood, but still they may have some knickknacks and personal possessions that have sentimental value, say, and they consider it their own private personal property and want to keep that and do not want to relinquish it to the state, to the common, to the collective, and for them it's their treasures, and they'd like to keep it. And I think that's the best. It's their own judgment, and they should be allowed to make their own judgment. But Marx and Engels, they don't think people should make their own judgment. They think they can make the best decisions for the public, and then they create a nanny state where the state makes all the decisions for what's best for the people, and whether or not they can own any property. So yeah, it's gaslighting totally. Marx is engaging in. Let me go on here to where they talk about the family. That's really interesting. Abolition of the family. Even the most radical flare-up at this infamous proposal of the communists. On what foundation is the present family, the bourgeois family, based? On capital, on private gain. In its completely developed form, this family exists only among the bourgeoisie. But this state of things finds its complement in the practical absence of the family among the proletarians and in the public prostitution. The bourgeois family will vanish as a matter of course when its complement vanishes, and both will vanish with the vanishing of capital. So there, once again, the gaslighting continues, where even among the workers think, well, I value my family. I got a family, so you're saying it's not really a family? It's just an invention of the bourgeois. I'm confused again. Silly me, I thought I had a family, I thought it's something valuable. So I'm going to continue with quotations here. Okay, I'm going to quote here from the Communist Manifesto. Direct quote. The bourgeois claptrap about the family and education, about the hollowed correlation of parent and child, becomes all the more disgusting the more, by the action of modern industry, all family ties among the proletarians are torn asunder and their children transformed into simple articles of commerce and instruments of labor. Okay, once again, the gaslighting, where they claim that this is trying to undermine the reader's sense of there being a hollowed tradition of the relationship between a parent and child, as though they're trying to lead manipulate the reader into thinking that it's somehow not hollowed. There's not something special there, hoping that the reader will question their judgment about that, so that they think that, silly me, I thought that was a special relationship between a parent and child. I thought it was. Silly me. I guess Marx and Engels say that it's just some invention of the bourgeoisie. I question everything. I question my own judgment. I thought, I don't know what to think now. I guess I'll just have to let Marx and Engels make all my decisions for me and let the state take over the role that the family once took. Is that what I'm supposed to do now? I don't know. I'm so confused. Marx and Engels have me all confused now. I can't make my own judgments. So that's what gaslighting is. They're trying to get people to question their own best judgment. That's what Marx and Engels are doing. It's so obvious. Yes, the family is special. It is hallowed. It should be preserved and respected. But that Marx and Engels does not think so. They do not think the family is special. That's all there is to it. So, if you value family and you think it is something special, then I think you have to abandon any kind of any Marxism. That's what I think. Just Marxism, it's fundamentally flawed. It's like a cult. There's something seriously wrong with this ideology. And with its very, very foundation, it's irretrievably, intractably flawed. I'm all in favor of a more less concentration of wealth. There's too much power, too much money concentrated in too few hands. That I agree with. That, yes, absolutely. For sure, they're talking about problems with child labor. Well, I mean, for some reason, why didn't Marx and Engels think, maybe we could introduce some child labor laws? No, they think it's, because there's exploitation of children at the workplace at the time this is written, therefore, then we got to get rid of the family? What? It's totally nonsensical. Absurd. Ridiculous. But, and yet Marxism rose and is continuing on over in China, especially, but also North Korea, Cuba. I think it's still to some degree in Vietnam, although I'm not sure to what degree it's still continuing on in Vietnam. But yeah, especially China. The government there still reveres Marx. It reveres Marxism. The Chinese Communist Party, or the Communist Party of China, whatever you want to refer to it as, referring to the same thing. They revere Marx and Marxism. That's why it has so many problems with human rights over there. And they're still trying to get their tentacles all over the world through their Belt and Road Initiative, and we need to be wary of that. So I'm just going to one last point here, one last example of the gaslighting here. When they talk about country, okay, I'm going to read another quote. The communists are further reproached with desiring to abolish countries and nationality. The working men have no country. We cannot take from them what they have not got. Oh, come on. You can't let the working men decide for themselves whether they have a country or not. Not Marx and Engels say it. They don't think so. They're gonna. That's the last example I'm gonna give of the gaslighting for now, where the working men will think, oh, gee, I thought I had a country and a nationality that I have pride in, and but no, the Marx and Engels are trying to confuse everybody again, trying to think that people are being silly, or their judgment is not clear when they think, oh, when they think they do have nationality, when the worker thinks, oh, I thought I had nationality, silly me. I guess I'm confused about that too, because Marx and Engels are saying, the working man has no nationality. I thought I had a nationality. I thought I had pride in my country, or patriotic. But Marx is thinking, is trying to claim you silly you reader, you don't understand what that you have no nationality. You're confused about that too. Can't make a good judgment about that. So yeah, that's another example. Marxism is trying to gaslight and just flim-flam the audience, the reader, into joining their cult. Really, what it is, it's just a cult. That form of communism is the Communist Party that are based on the principles of Marxism. And so yeah, we need to make sure we stay clear of Marxism as much as possible and beware of it. It is a malevolent and intractably flawed system, and I hope I've convinced somebody of that might happen to watch this video. So I guess that's all I have to say for now. That's all I can think of at the moment. I'm gonna leave this video at that. All right, so if you're watching, thanks for watching.